All right, welcome back to Vital Refinement. This is Vital Refinement Things I Learned in 2020. So this next topic is it's not really something I learned in 2020, but it's something I started applying in 2020. So I learned this years ago, but like I mentioned in previous episodes, sometimes you learn something, but you don't really do nothing with it. And honestly, I am one of the biggest like examples of this. Like I have so much knowledge. I love learning so much, but I struggle with application of the things I learn. I can share so much knowledge with people. Like, yeah, you can do it this way. You can go here, get this. This is how you get this resource. This is how you blah 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 blah. But when it comes to myself, I just be like, I know better, but I don't do better. And that's what my one of my biggest issues is. I hope I grow out of it. I hope I really tap in and start applying what I learn and what I know is healthy and safe for me. But I just I don't know. I don't know what it is. Something I have to seek God out for. I need answers. But y'all, I'm the biggest example of not practicing what I preach or not applying what I know. Like people used to be like, "Oh, if they know better, they'll do better." Like, no, that does not apply for everybody. It definitely does not apply for me, unfortunately. But that's something I really want to grow out of and correct. So this thing I learned in 2020, it wasn't something I really learned. It was just something I started applying, right? So, what I started applying was I can only control myself and my own actions. I can only control myself and my own actions. And within this, of course, I have to hold myself accountable to myself and my own actions. I cannot take responsibility for others' selves and others' actions. And I really started applying this in 2020. Like, I can't control others' actions, others' choices, others' thoughts. What someone thinks about me is none of my business. How someone loves me, I have no control over. The only thing I have control over is if I'm going to accept that type of love and my own actions to how to respond if that isn't the type of love that I want to accept. I can't control if someone's going to hurt me. I only can control hurting others. And this can be applied across relationships, it can be applied across work, it can be applied across all different aspects of our lives. You only can control you. And even then, we need the strength of God to do that. We need God's grace, okay? Because the flesh is something else, okay? The flesh is very out here, being active at all times. So, most of the time, that ain't even our strength when we control ourselves. That's the Holy Spirit, okay? That's God's grace. But I only can control myself, my own actions. And the reason I was like, I've known this for a long time, but I just never applied it was because I have known this for a long time. People have said this to me, like adults, older siblings, like you can only control you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I get that. Like, that's true. That's like a fact. I can only control me. But it wasn't until 2020 when I was like sitting with myself. I'm like, wow, I really only can control myself. I really can only control my own actions. So it really put fire under me to one, show people how I want to be loved, how I want to be treated. But if they don't want to recognize that, if they don't want to try to understand that, if they don't want to adhere to that, I can control my action and step away. I can choose to say, hey, they don't get it. I'm still good. Um, that really put fire into me to things, especially with stuff going on in the world. Like, people really be having it out on social media. And I understand, like, we're supposed to be missionaries, we're supposed to be ministers of, of God. Yes, we're supposed to share the good news. Yes, we're supposed to share our testimonies. But you can't force no one to listen to you. You can't force no one to just switch up and change their mind about something with a few comments on their Instagram posts or with a few threads on Twitter or whatever the case may be, and that's okay. So I'm not going to sit up here and harp over someone's beliefs being different than mine, spiritually, politically, culturally, whatever. I can only control me. And when I actually started applying that, I had so much more peace. I had so much more peace within myself, especially because I was taking on other people's responsibilities. Like, I was holding myself accountable for their wrongs, for their actions, and that was only darkening me. That was really like causing depression. Like, it led back to me like not trusting myself, not doubting myself. Like, oh, maybe like I am the really one tripping. Like, really, like it really like gaslit me. Just So that's how I was just like, dang, like I've heard this for so long, but I really need to start practicing this. Like, this is gonna really change the way I interact with people and how I interact with this world. Because if I would have kept going the way I was going and really like holding everything so close and taking everything so personally, like, oh, maybe if I change this, they'll treat me this way, or maybe if I look this way, their opinion will change about this. Like, I really had to stop. Like, that ain't none of my business. They're That's between them and God. That's between them and them. So that is the fifth thing I learned in 2020 is that I can only control myself and my own actions, and that is okay. We all were given free will for a reason, and um, just applying that really, really brought me peace. Like, not carrying others' burdens and not holding others accountable for their own selves and taking on our responsibility, trying to hold myself accountable for their actions or their thoughts or their opinions or them not controlling themselves. Like, that, it was really not it. So that's the fifth thing I learned. What I started applying in 2020. I hope that you got something out of this. I hope you can relate to it. I hope that maybe this reminded you of someone. You want to share it with them. I appreciate the likes, the comments, the shares. I appreciate y'all just listening, to be honest. So if you can like or comment just to say, like, hey, I'm listening, like, that would be appreciative. This is a great outlet for me. I love reflecting. I love learning new things, especially about myself, especially on my growth journey. So just y'all listening is just a bonus. But for me, like, this is a great healthy outlet for me to just express myself. So I'm grateful for that. Um, I hope y'all have a blessed day. Hope you stay healthy, stay safe, stay close to those who love you and who you love. Um, Remind yourself of this. Like, you can only control yourself, right? So take care, and I hope you stay tuned and listen to some more episodes of Vital Refinement, things that I learned in 2020. Peace.